Hi there. Welcome to the Small Business Coffee Break, the series where we take a few minutes to work on your business, not just in it. Today we're talking with Alex Barthet of the Barthet Construction Law Firm about how can an addendum help contractors. Alex has over 13 years of experience helping contractors and construction businesses all over the state of Florida. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get into it. The small business owner has a bigger opportunity than they realize as long as they give themselves that opportunity.
Yeah, and the way you amend it is, I would tell you 90% of the time we do it as an addendum. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about what that means. And 10% of the time we do it as a red line. Most contractors do not like the red line.
Red line is literally putting a red line through it. And
correct. Whether it's electronically done
right.
or you do it by hand, which are both perfectly legal, by the way. That bothers them, when you alter their actual document. But some prefer it, so you have to figure that out. But the 90% of the time is an addendum. So what is an addendum? It's a separate document. So you have the contract, 10, 20, 80 pages, and then we create an addendum. And we say this addendum supersedes all of the terms and conditions that exist in the capital C contract, capital D documents, contract documents, which would include the contract you're signing. And we prepare this addendum that makes changes to the underlying contract. And those changes are, on an average contract, we probably make, I would say, between 50 and 150 changes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that's surprising.
And I'll tell you exactly why. If you ask for 10 changes, you're going to get 3. Okay?
Right.
If you ask for 100, maybe you'll get 30. What we typically see on the client side, again, really heavily dependent on price, availability, relationship with the contractor, is anywhere from 5% to 30% of the proposed changes that we propose get into the final contract. Rarely, but occasionally, we're at 80 or 90%. But that's the
outliers most of the time.
Right.
Yeah, those things that they happen, and it feels real good when it does. But
correct. But most of the time, you're looking at 10, 15, 20% of the changes. So you need to make sure that you have enough to throw away in the negotiation, so the contractor feels like he's still getting.
It's amazing how much of this is a negotiation. It feels. My father tells a story about my brother wanting to pay a tailor with a check. The big sign behind the tailor, it says, "No checks accepted." My brother calls my dad and says, "You told me that they take checks here." My dad says, "Would you tell him your last name and tell him you have a check?" See what he says? Walks up to the tailor. He's like, "Hi, my name is John, and I have a check." And he's like, "Okay." It's a negotiation.
Correct.
It's a conversation, not necessarily something that's been dictated. And that always does blow my mind a little bit. Let's keep the conversation going. If you have any questions you'd like to ask Alex, ask him in the comments, or his contact information is in the description. If you have any questions you'd like me to ask Alex or any other professional in their field, my contact information is also in the description, and I'm always available via DM. See you next week for another cup of coffee and more questions answered.